Hey Shooby Doodlers, how are you doing? Well, I've been using my new Wacom Intuos Pro for about a week now, and I am loving it. Click somewhere up here to see my unboxing video, but this is going to be all about kind of setting up and how it works. So a kind of a review of actually using it. Now I've been using it for a week. I've been using a Wacom for about 10 years at least now. I used to use a mouse and I was doing a very intense animation project, and I started getting RSI and having such pain in my wrists, and I changed to a Wacom tablet. I can work all day with this. I do word processing, everything. I don't use a mouse at all. I just use a Wacom tablet. So it's really nice to have a new one, because my old one was getting a bit cranky. So I've got a USB cable here, which is plugged into my Mac. I think it's pretty much identical on Windows and Mac. I happen to be a Mac user. First of all, what we have is some little buttons on the side here. So we've got an on-off button here. You can unplug it and have it independently connected with Bluetooth. I think if you're going to be using it just every day with your computer, I would just have it plugged in. There is also this little button on the side here which says touch. No, it doesn't have a little finger pointing. When you click that, it turns into a kind of like a tablet almost. So you've got the screen in front of you, and you can do all complete hand gestures on here and treat the screen as if it was a tablet, but instead of having your fingers all over the screen, you're using the tablet here with all these gestures that you can use. If you're going to be doing drawing with your pen, obviously you don't want that on, because you can have the pen working and then your fingers are going to be on there creating all sorts of strange gestures going on. So you'll want to switch that off while you're just using the pen. I should point out that Wacom have sent me this for review, but they've not paid me to make this video. I'm quite happy to make this video because I think it's a really great product. And sometimes things that you use every day you just take for granted, and it's the things that are so really good that you take for granted every day because they just work and do the job that you want to do. If you're doing a lot of graphic work on the screen and you're used to drawing, there's nothing quite like drawing with a tablet onto the screen. So let's talk about the pen first. Here is the pen, and here is the holder, and when you look at it, it's got kind of instructions underneath it, and if you twist it, you find the bottom comes off. And there is a little hole in there, and if you put your pen nib into it and just twist slightly, the pen nib comes out. Why would you want to do that? Because inside the pen holder are a whole lot of spare nibs. And there are kind of grey ones and black ones. So I put the grey one now in the nib. Can you hear that? It's just more scratchy. So if you like a kind of a scratchy kind of feel, then that's what you'll want to do, is to put the grey nibs in. But I would much prefer to have the smoother one. And so I've replaced that, and now I'm going to close up the thing. And I know that I've got spare nibs there in case I need them. Why would you need spare nibs? Because, you know, whatever you do, how smooth this is, they will start wearing down a bit eventually. And also you get this little thing here you can test. These are different surfaces, so if you want a slightly rougher surface, you can get an extra surface which you kind of place on top. Personally, I'm very happy with the smoothness and the feel of the pen as it comes straight out of the box. Now on the tablet you will find these little crosshairs in the corners, so this is the actual working area of the tablet, and down at this end we have the so-called express keys, 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom. You can have it the other way around, it doesn't matter. You can have it portrait as well. You can set this up in the system preferences, which I will show you in a moment. So we have these express keys, and we also have this rotary dial thing going on here. I don't know if you can see, there is a little white spot of light there. It's quite unobtrusive, and when you click the middle, it moves to there. Click it, moves to there. Click it, moves to there. So you've got kind of 4 ways of pre-programming this rotary dial. You can use this for sort of scrolling or tilting the desktop, all sorts of things. So there we go. That's the tablet. It's sleek. It just sits on the desk. It's not too high and sloped at the front, so that your wrist is kind of nicely kind of leaning onto it. It's just a very pleasant thing. The pen sits in the holder so you don't lose it. It's just perfect. So the pen is the right way, everything is lovely. Let's go and see how the system preferences work and how you can really fine-tune your pen and fine-tune your tablet to do all the things you want it to. Well, this is the preferences page. It's on the Mac, but it will look pretty much the same on Windows. And this up at the top is telling me that what the device is, Intuos Pro, that knows what's attached. And here we have tools, so we can set functions. So this is telling us what the functions are at the moment. So this is the Wacom Desktop Center, but you can change that to click. So it could be a right click, keyboard stroke, modifier. You can assign for navigation, backwards, forwards, all those kind of things. On-screen controls. So you can assign all sorts of things that you are using all the time. So these are the express keys. Now along here you've got other things you can do. So this is the touch ring. So at the moment up in this corner, if you're pressing, if the little white dot is up in that area, you've got auto scroll and zoom. As I rotate the wheel, then we go up and down and scroll the window. Over here you've got keystroke. So here you are, you can speed up and slow down the things that you're doing. So I found the auto scroll is actually quite fast, so I'm going to slow that down a bit. Your on-screen controls, I'm not really quite sure about. I know the radial menu is all something to do with the touch. So this is a whole excitement for you to find out what that's all about. Again, here we have touch. So I found when I was using it touch, I found the pointer very fast, so you can bring that down a bit. And your double tap time, your standard gestures, you can work all those things out. You can create your own gestures and assign them to the tablet. Now this is what we're probably more interested in for drawing. This is the pen. So we've got all sorts of things that we can do. On the pen there is a button. There's a back button and a front button, so it's a kind of a rocker button. And you can turn that into a double click or a right click, in fact, but you can turn it into all those things again. So that click can be anything you like on the button. The tip feel, you can make it feel kind of firm or soft, and as you're actually doing this, you can kind of press. I'm pressing quite hard there, whereas now I'm pressing I'm hardly touching at all. But if I go right to firm, I have to really press hard to get that feeling. So you can really sort of set this to how you like it. And then we have tilt sensitivity, which is not easy to say. This depends on how you have the angle of the pen, because in some programs you will get the pen doing different things at an angle. You'll get a fine point vertically, and then you'll get a kind of shading thing like you would get on the side of a pencil when you tilt the pen. Now at the back end of the pencil you have the eraser. So when you turn it over, it will turn into an eraser, but you may not use that. What you can do is you can assign a keystroke. I saw once somebody say, why not turn it into a little lowercase x? And if you use Photoshop, then that means you just have to tap it over and it will kind of alternate between two states. So that's quite fun. And again, you've got the eraser feel, soft, firm, click, maximum, and everything there. Now mapping, so you want to orientate it. So I have got my express keys on the left, so that's fine. If you want to have your express keys on the right or on the top, so you could have it vertically, you could have the whole thing vertical if you want. There's no reason why it has to be a kind of a portrait. There's no reason it has to be a landscape format. It can be a portrait format. But I want mine on the left, and I'm going to be using pen. You can use your pen in a mouse mode. Mostly you're going to be using it as a pen. So I'm choosing to use the full area of the screen. So I'm using the screen, forcing the proportions to my tablet area with the full portion. Now it depends. If you've got a square kind of screen and you're using it a kind of a landscapey shaped tablet, if you're forcing the proportions, then when you draw, you draw a circle, you're going to get an ellipse or something like that. So you might want to map the area to a portion of the screen, and then you can kind of do that and say, oh, I want it to be more square, and then that will map the screen like that. So, and we'll say a portion of the screen, I want like that portion of the screen or something there, and that will map it completely differently. But I want the full screen area, full tablet area, so there I'm happy. So here we've got applications. So what you could do is find an application, and so I'm looking for Photoshop, and I'm going to add Photoshop in there. And you know I said about the eraser, and I will quite happily have a keystroke there with an X. That is where I want to use the keystroke. In all others, then I might want to use, or I probably just want to use it as an eraser, which is fair enough. But now when I use it in Photoshop, it will become an X keystroke. So you can define things to very particular programs that you are using. I've just added Final Cut Pro, which is my video editing program I use. There is a keystroke I use quite a lot, which is Command and Shift R, I think it is, which is an awkward bunch of keys. And so I've assigned that to Final Cut Pro. But everything, all the other programs, I think I'm going to have something like undo. So when I press that, it will undo my last thing, which is quite a useful thing to have. And let's see how that works in practice. So here we are in Photoshop. When I touch the express keys there, you can see up comes the little menu so you can see what we're actually using. When I press the top button, up comes the brush tools. If I draw a little bit there, press that a few times, then it makes the brush bigger and smaller. So you just got sort of a quick little palette that you can kind of adapt to just to do those simple things. I'm going to put a little bit of text on there, and I'm going to put another layer on there. I can move around the whole screen, and I'm using the little rotation wheel here at the moment. So I can kind of, if I want to draw at a different angle, then I can do that. And you just kind of press and hold until the compass comes up. And that's quite useful. I'm going to cycle through the layers, and if you can see over here, then I can just kind of work my way through all the layers, which is very useful on Photoshop. So as you can see, these express keys can all be assigned to particular programs. Now this is Final Cut Pro, which I use for video editing, and quite often I find that I want to find the original file of an image. And so it's Command, Shift and R does the job. But that's a spread of fingers, so I've assigned that to one express key. I just highlight the button, press the express key, and up comes the original file that I wanted. And so that makes life so much quicker for me, and as you go along you'll be able to assign all sorts of little buttons and things like that, which will make life an awful lot easier for you too. The third express key down, which has a little point in the middle of it, now if I'm drawing here and I press it, up comes the precision mode. And so as I move across the tablet, it hardly moves on the screen. So maybe if I was to zoom in a bit, we'll get even more precision, so we can really get into those little bits, and kind of a sort of smooth, largish movement on the tablet appears as a tiny little movement on the screen. So when I press back to normal mode, what happens? Oh, it's gone right the way off the screen. So normal mode is kind of wiggling around like that, and now exactly the same movements are providing these very fine little movements. So that's really good for just sort of switching in and out of doing, you know, minute little adjustments. So there we go. The Wacom Intuos Pro is just kind of perfect. It's just there and you use it every day. Sometimes the things that you use every day and just kind of don't really think about are the things that are probably the most important in your life. So the Wacom Intuos Pro, I can certainly recommend it. And Wacom have not paid me to make this video. If you're doing a lot of graphic work on the screen and you're used to drawing, there's nothing quite like drawing with a tablet onto the screen. I use this pen for everything on the computer, word processing, video editing, the whole lot. So I don't use a mouse at all. Would I recommend it? Yes, of course I would. It's a fantastic piece of kit, and as I say, it's the kind of thing that you use day after day after day, and because it's just there, you don't really think about just how good it is. It's only when you're actually asked to think about it that you realise just how good a piece of kit like the Wacom Intuos Pro really is.